abilities in a mission of transforming not only our lives, but the lives of those we come in contact with. This is an exciting opportunity. Every day we have a chance to inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. It could be a little wee difference, a smile, a hug, an act of caring and kindness. We do that by being ourselves. We welcome everyone today who's online, who we can see, and those who may watch later, those who are far away, like Tom and Joanne in Mexico, and anyone else who may be watching today or later. We welcome you. We invite you to be with us. If you choose today to pray with one of our prayer chaplains, we do have breakout rooms. And our host, Larry, has arranged that you can go to a private room with prayer with one of the chaplains. Room 1 will be Wilda, room 2, Dawn, and room 3, Sylvia. And you can do that just following our service. And those breakout rooms are available right now. Let us now move into prayer. I invite you to go to your heart space, to that inner space where we are connected always with divine spirit. That unique oneness enables us to be always Christ-like and God-like wherever we are at all times. Today we hold in prayer unity of Comox Valley and unity Nanaimo. We also hold in prayer today our beloved unity members, those close to our hearts who may not be with us online. Claudette and Peter Foy and their families. Sylvia Square, her mom Melita, her dad Hugh. Margaret Hoff, Suzanne and Chuck Semple. Anyone in our community who has felt a loss in any way, that they be filled with a spiritual strength, inspiring wisdom, and lots of love. We are enduring challenges. Those challenges cause us to stretch farther and reach deeper than we may have ever reached before. But we know that within us is incredible strength and fortitude, courage and love. We call upon those every day. We affirm today the resilience and the strength of our frontline healthcare workers. Those people dedicated to not only bringing health to those right before them, but some people, like our dear Dawn, bringing health online through listening. We have opportunities every day to listen, to learn, to lead with love. And may we do that today as we celebrate with each other in loving, connective prayer. Amen. Today, our platform assistant, Lois Colbert, will read the daily word.
Today's daily word is pray with others. I am divine, as is each person with whom I pray. A friend knows your divinity during those moments you may find it difficult to know it for yourself. Each person I pray with is a friend, even if we just met. I begin by letting go of fear and releasing any thoughts of lack, illness, disharmony, or limitation as I pivot my awareness to our identical divinity. Each person is the principle of abundance because they are divine. Each of them is divine love. I see each one warming and comforting themselves as they bring harmony to their relationships. I affirm their abundant living as they guide themselves using divine love, wisdom, and understanding. I see each of their lives orderly, unfolding as they enjoy security, health, and joy. I am divine as each person with whom I pray. I now have the wonderful task of introducing our guest speaker today, and Paul Luftenegger, and his title is Love, Expanding Love. Paul Luftenegger is a certified Heal Your Life teacher and an international multi-award winning singer, songwriter, composer who writes conscious music to inspire and promote global love and kindness from within. Paul's focus is growing and nurturing self-worth within the listener. Paul is a leader in his new genre of music he calls conscious healing music to empower the listener's heart and soul to thrive. Paul has been invited to the United Nations headquarters in New York City 4 times to speak and sing his conscious music for the International Day of Yoga, the International Day of Women, and the International Day of Peace. In 2017, Paul helped 2,000 people in need receive free hearing aids in Vietnam. Paul's song Diamond Light won the Honorable Mention Award from the USA International Songwriting Competition in 2013, and the album of the same name, the Top 10 Award in London by the London Free Press. Paul is in the process of releasing his 7th album titled Seeds of Peace, funded by his worldwide fans. His music is being used in classrooms to help children understand the importance of self-love and self-kindness. So welcome our friend Paul.
Hi there, everyone. Sorry, I had to hit the unmute button. I forgot to do that. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. Everyone can hear me okay, yes? Just want to make sure. Yeah, good. Okay, so ultimately, I was tasked with really speaking about something today, and I've thought a lot about this for a number of weeks and months now. And as we all know, we're living in auspicious times. So I wanted to choose something that I can speak to from my heart. I haven't written anything down. I just wanted to take some time and just go through some slides and share what comes forward from my heart. So that's really what I want to do today. Love Expanding Love is something that is really important to me. And in 2011, I was shown this by God. And I say this with great humility because I believe deeply that we're in a time where that is required, deeply. And it is a soul journey to do so. It is a heart journey to do so. And I know it well. We've all been prepared. I feel like that's important to say. And I also want to just begin with, I learned something in 2011 very profoundly in my process of grief through my father's suicide, is that I begin everything with saying that I am a child of God. And if I start with that, I'm powerful. And the power within that is within me. So I just wanted to start by saying that. So there's 2 things I want to just cover here, is that I radiate acceptance, and I do my best to do so. And that is Louise Hay's teaching, all is well in my world. I think if you start there, all will be well in your world. All is well in our world when we do that. So moving forward here, souls are meant to bloom. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And how do we bloom our soul? Well, one of the most important gifts I've ever been given is this stone. And I didn't realize it when I received it from my mother when I was about 16, but it's engraved with the word create. And I think that we need to remember that we're creators. And I think if you want to help the world, you must remain in that understanding and realize you're creating your life and co-creating it with the world around us. And this community is a perfect example. We're co-creating together today. Long story short is this is who I am, out in the world. And, it's sort of a funny thing after all these years, because I once upon a time didn't think I could do much with music. I was sadly mistaken and greatly mistaken by that. And I say it with humility. But I've worked really hard and I have followed God every single step of the way from my heart. I made a promise in 2011 after my father's suicide to follow my heart and expand love, regardless of whatever challenges came, whatever fear I had. And this is a 24-hour job day for 10 years to prepare to get to you today. And I promised God I would do this for God. And it took a while to get convinced, but I decided I had to. So these are my albums. They're my little babies. They come from God with me. And I say that again with humility, but God asked me to write music to inspire global love and kindness and expand love with my heart in honest ways around the world. So I started. Now, I remember being in India in 2018, sort of having a profound moment. We had been on a train all night, and when I got there, I realized how in the world am I in India singing music? And I have to say it was sort of a moment where I had this understanding that during my album creation of Seeds of Peace was how this happened. And my music's taken me all around the world. I have fans, I say this again with humility, but all around the world. And, I've traveled throughout Canada, the USA, and I've been invited to the United Nations, as mentioned, 5 times actually now. I've been to France, Denmark, Norway, Cyprus, and many other places. So what I know for sure is that everything is alive with energy, frequency, vibration. This is something that I think is very powerful to see through my music, or through music that inspires the love that's within our heart and soul. And music is a perfect example of that very thing, energy, frequency, and vibration. Right now, I have had a miraculous week and a very emotional week. And I wanted to share sort of my depression at 2020 and into 2021, into January. I was very confused about what to do about COVID-19. I did not know what to do. I was very depressed by what I've witnessed, what I've seen, the challenges we've been faced with. But I recognized something in January and I asked God for help, and God asked me to write an album. I didn't know what to do for a while. And I say this again with an understanding that I knew this would come. I just didn't know when. And I would relate, really 2020 to the year my father died. I hadn't felt that depression space or that grief space until last year and into this year. And God asked me to write an album called Spheres of Love. What I know very true is that I feel that your love and your power within, with God, with that beautiful, miraculous power, we can take our love and put it outside of our body. And this was shown to me in a vision. I have many visions, and create love on the outside of us to then share with another heart, so on and so forth. This is what I've done for 10 years. And I guarantee you it creates the heaven or the miracles when we do it. In community, in our families, around the world, it doesn't matter. So I just have to share with you this, because this is what's happened this week, is I was really nervous starting this. So in January, I asked for $20,000 through Facebook. I received $4,000. I asked God, I said, how am I supposed to pay for this? Have faith. I wore my shirt that has faith embroidered on it today on purpose. This was created from my faith album. Now, I have to tell you, when I started this, I was very shaky sharing this information or this album, and everything that I've ever done is crowdfunded. Now, what happened miraculously this week is that someone donated $13,000 to fund the entire thing 48 hours after I launched this. And that with my other 4,000 already collected is more money than 20,000 that I thought I needed. And I have more abundance. And I wanted to share just the story of faith in, prosperity and money, because we get stuck sometimes not believing in our power. And I really thought that was a relevant point today. So I want to just thank my mother and my father. This is them. I'd be nothing without them. And I thank them for every ounce of love that they've given me in my life. This is Fred and Jane. This is my dad. He was an incredible man. He fed people for his entire career. And I think it's very humble to feed people. He was a produce manager actually at Price Chopper, which then became Freshco at the end. And this was him not too far before he transitioned. This is Corey, my husband, whom I love. This is us. Now, I want to start with one quick point to Maya Angelou. So in 2011, she taught me something very profound, and this is how you expand love. She taught me that words have power, and that one day we'll be able to measure how much power each word has. If you don't begin with your words, it's hard to create anything with love expanding love. Now, I want to just read her words verbatim because I think they're powerful to understand. So words have power. Words are things. You must be careful about calling people out of their names, using racial pejoratives and sexual pejoratives and all that ignorance. Don't do that. Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. They get on the walls, they get in your wallpaper, they get in your rugs, in your upholstery, and clothes, and finally into you. So be mindful of your words. She also was known and notorious for kicking people out of her house if they spoke poorly. She'd offer one chance for them to change their words, and if they didn't, she'd ask them to leave. Not in my walls, not in my carpet, and not in me. That's what she was well known for. So these are some of her words. You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. As soon as healing takes place, go out and heal somebody else. Try to be a rainbow in someone's clouds. Nothing can dim the light which shines from within. Now, I want to just share with you another woman, and this is Louise Hay. So Louise Hay taught me something to add to Maya's teaching, which is that thoughts have power. Now, I used to not believe this. I used to have a really hard time understanding how that could really, truly change your life, but it does. And I, once upon a time, didn't know Louise Hay. And it's really interesting because a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. And for me, you can certainly sort of know a lot about someone if they know her work or not, because she's the queen of thought, in my opinion. And she even started a publishing company to do so. Now, when I didn't know about her, I was introduced to her through a man in handing him a free CD that I had made of my music. And I'll never forget this because this moment happened right after that. And literally within probably about 20 minutes after hearing her name, this project in this book came into my hands next door to the building where this happened. And I saw this picture of Louise Hay after she was introduced to me through someone telling me about her. Kind of interesting. You know, the universe works in synchronicities. I've learned this a great deal in my life. This is Louise Hay. Now, if you want to become someone that shines at the end of their life or when they're transitioning, I think she's a really good teacher. And I've learned a lot from her, and I hope to live a long life. And if I'm blessed with that, I hope to look a lot like her when I'm in her age. Now, I want to share this just because if you know me, which I'm guessing you know, I had the rare blessing of having her be blessed and share a moment of love with my song, My Heart. Now, from not knowing her to then having my song used for her last birthday on earth is not something that just happened. I had to follow my heart to get there, and I had to say yes to love from my heart. And, you know, it's interesting because it was the last birthday she had. It was a public event, and it was a moment where 2,000 people placed their hands on their heart and loved themselves. And she said nothing from the stage on that birthday stage. It was just 2,000 people with my song loving themselves. And we're going to have that song at the end of this. But I wanted to begin with just sharing the miraculousness of following your heart, because miracles happen. Anita Morjani, I've had the pleasure of working with her and sharing time. She's published under Louise's company, Hay House. Bruce Lipton as well. And I want to just share some of Louise's words and thoughts. I think and speak positively, which is her affirmation. I trust the guidance of the universe. Life loves me. And she was known for always saying, life loves me. Life really, really loves me. And saying that to yourself every day, you know, no matter what. And these are the 11 quintessential thoughts and rules I personally live by, and I thought I'd share them with you because I think they're powerful. And Louise actually lived this way. And I think most people that are really happy in their life live some version of this. So, number one is love yourself. Number two is thoughts have power. Number three is be mindful of your words. Number four is don't be resentful. Number five is learn how to think successfully. Number six is help others. Number seven is be calm. Number eight is do affirmations. Speak well to yourself. Number nine is keep working on yourself. Number 10 is be thankful. And number 11 is believe that only good lies ahead. So I just wanted to give a quick, really brief overview of Louise's life because I think it's important. Long story short, I've made this quick. 1930s is sort of when she was, born into the world, sort of during that Depression time. She was a single mother. At the age of 5, her mother married a second time, and it was to an abusive and violent man. Soon after, Louise, after that time, was raped by a neighbor and is asked to be a star witness in the case. And essentially, the man was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Louise was told repeatedly that the rape and the sentence was her fault and felt as though the man would come and get her after his sentence. So she feared that. She couldn't take the sexual abuse anymore by the age of 15 and essentially ran away from home. She drops out of school. And while working as a waitress at 15, she became pregnant. And just after her 16th birthday, she gave birth to a little baby girl and gave her away to a loving home, which resulted in feelings of loss, guilt, and shame. Essentially, she rescues her mother and leaves her 10-year-old sister with her father, helps her mother get a job at a hotel, and helps her mother set up her new life. So this is after she had this awareness and leaves basically for Chicago for a month after setting her mother up and didn't return for 30 years of silence. Powerful space away, I'm sure. Now, the patterns that she's known for really being well with is violence experienced as a child, coupled with worthlessness, attracted men who mistreated her and often beat her. Rather than berating men, Louise chose to take the high road through positive work experiences, and her self-esteem grew, and she noticed the abusive, unkind men began to leave her life. Louise moves to New York and becomes a high fashion model, suffers from self-esteem issues, and finds faults within herself, refusing to recognize her own beauty. And I think we've all done this, too fat, too thin, etc. Met and soon married an English businessman and travels the world, very fancy life, and still suffered from those self-esteem issues. Long story short here is one day after 14 years of marriage, Louise's husband announced his desire to marry another woman. So she sort of was betrayed, I guess, in that particular moment. And she made a choice to deal with it with constructive thought. And she met at that time a numerologist that told her that essentially she would have a life-changing experience. And she was introduced to the Church of Religious Science. And essentially, this is where her life changed. I'm not going to read all of this because I'm just going to fast forward there. Her ministerial training is really the big part of her points of philosophy and what she did with helping the world. Keep in mind, this woman sold 55 million books already to date, and she started a publishing house to help people love themselves, essentially. These are her points of philosophy: is that we are each responsible for all of our experiences. Every thought we think is creating our future. And if you want to expand love, you have to get your head around this and your heart around this. Everyone suffers from self-hatred and guilt at some capacity. I am one of those people. The bottom line for everyone is, I'm not good enough. It's only a thought, and a thought can be changed, is her whole model. We create every so-called illness in our body is her belief, and resentment, criticism, and guilt are the most damaging patterns for that. In her book, she explains this well. Releasing resentment will dissolve even cancer. And this is something that she essentially experienced in her own life. So long story short here is the gateways to wisdom and knowledge are always open. We must be willing to begin to learn to love ourselves. Self-approval and self-acceptance in the now are the keys to positive changes. And when we really love ourselves, everything in our life works. Life is really very simple. What we give out, we get back. What we think about ourselves becomes the truth for us. I believe that everyone, myself included, is responsible for everything in our lives, the best and the worst. Every thought we think is creating our future. Each one of us creates our experiences by our thoughts and our feelings. Thoughts we think and words we speak create experiences. Now, I want to just pause just to say that I have experienced this within my music. So I use good words and I use good thoughts and I work for God. And that's a powerful formula. And I'm just getting started, really. I'm going to just fast forward these. I just want to show you Louise Hay. And this person, Alia, who's a very close friend of mine, took care of Louise for 15 years. And in 2020, I was given some of Louise Hay's ashes. I will be doing something incredible with them at some point to offer memorial for her. This is just her. I love these pictures of her. And this is how I got to that stage to have my song used. This is Dr. Christiane Northrup. And this is that moment where Louise was honored with my song, which was pretty powerful. And I became a Heal Your Life, essentially teacher this past year, which was a phenomenal thing. And I'm just very grateful for Louise's work. And this is what happens when you start following your heart, is the heart starts shining back to you. I saw this whale jump right after I graduated from that class, and I just thought I would share this moment because I knew that a whale was going to jump here with my intuition, and I pointed the camera there waiting, and sure enough, a whale jumped, and this is it. And nobody was looking except for me, and I just thought that was really cool to share. So follow your intuition too. I believe this very deeply, is that no one will ever be able to be you. No one will ever be able to do what your heart and soul came here to do. That is your superpower, and it's simply to be you. So this is Louise's wonderful work in a collection. That's a great book. If you ever want a great book, it's Trust Life, and it's really beautiful. It's composed and put together by Robert Holden. This is another quote I just really love, and it's, "We all need every single dream and dreamer if we want to shift our world toward more love and light for the enrichment of all." This is just a picture of just becoming a Heal Your Life teacher. And the fact this happened in 2020 is miraculous, in a little window, because I had to fly out to Victoria, BC. And this happened somehow in COVID. And I just want to say, you know, miracles happen. This is actually on the Oprah Winfrey estate in Hawaii. This is my song and music that was given to her on her Christmas wreath by a neighbor. And I thought I would just share a cool picture, because I think stuff like this starts to happen when you follow your heart and when you trust it with your soul and with the power that's within you. So I'm going to just stop there because we're out of time. That's been actually 20 minutes already. So I'm going to just actually stop sharing here. And I am just going to switch over to a song to just do a meditation to end this space. So I'm going to sing, and this is recorded because on Skype it's a little challenging, and this will be much more effective as a meditation to do it this way. So this is my song, My Heart, which was used for Louise's last birthday. And this is a really slowed down, stripped down version, just at my piano here at my home. So here we go on that. And sure enough, it's not on the screen. So just bear with me for 1 sec. I have to do this a little differently. Sorry, everyone. There we go. And there we go. Can everyone see that? And on this precious Sunday, I'm going to sing this. Okay, so I'll stop talking and just take a moment for your heart, okay? Here we go. Just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose. And out through your mouth. One more in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Here we go.
Yes, put your hand on your heart and say I love you, and close your eyes, feel your breath beneath that beautiful heart in your chest, and look inside of your soul. There is a love coming to life. I see your love as one love. I feel a joyfulness of bliss in this. Oh, can you see your waterfall? And your heart is leading to it all. Your stream, how it flows, it glistens as it goes, and shine your light, and shine your soul. Shine your light and shine your soul. You see, you are a radiant starlight, and raise your light. So put your hand on your beautiful heart. Yes, put your hand on your beautiful heart and say I love you. I love you, and close your eyes, feel your breath beneath that beautiful heart. You have such a beautiful heart. You have such a beautiful heart in your And just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth.
It almost seems as though we need to stay in this space forever. This loving, gentle, strong space that Paul Luftenegger created for us today. Paul, your honest, open sharing created a sphere of love for us that we will remember forever. And I'm sure that you are aware that you never know how many hearts you touch. And in turn, those hearts will touch others. So the messages from Maya Angelou, from Louise Hay, shared by you, through you, is a flow of love that is so strong, so heartfelt, that we are ever grateful. Words aren't enough to say it, but we love you, we appreciate you, and in the words that we used to say, we see the face of God shining in you. We thank you so much. And I think Paul is going to share another song now. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry. Before he does that, you'll see a new image here. The image of spring in all of its glorious abundance, the vibrant flowers. And all of that abundance reminds us of how grateful we are for the source of our abundance. Knowing that many allow the supply, your supply, to flow through you to Unity of London in the form of financial gifts and tithes. We thank all those who give spontaneous gifts, as you have a call upon your heart to do so. And we see you receiving spontaneous spurts of prosperity and abundance as that energy returns to you. We thank all those who give regularly in the form of a tithe. We see your understanding of your flow growing abundantly. And we thank anyone who's with us for the first or second time today. Those who are sharing your time, we appreciate you and we hope you come back and consider being a member of our wonderful community. And now we have a chance to hear from Paul again, that very special song, that loving song that he talked about. So please help us welcome back Paul.
Even after all these miles, what a wonderful gift life is. Oh, the universe loves me too. Yes, you do. We've traveled millions of miles just to feel our souls smile. Even after all these miles, what a wonderful gift life is. I've loved you for millions of years, and I'll love you for millions more. May the seed of you grow strong with life, and may you bloom and grow your love forever. We've traveled millions of miles just to feel our souls smile. Even after all these miles, what a wonderful gift life is. Even after all these miles, what a wonderful gift life is.
Thank you so much.
We now share in our own homes our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Hey, God. And now if you join at home in our peace song. We invite everyone to have a blessedly loving, abundant day and to join us for fellowship, where you will have a chance to share any ideas or questions or comments with Paul or with each other. So if you want to share, if you just raise your hand. Lucy from Quebec.
Yes, hello. Good morning to you all, and good morning, Paul. Paul, your message was so timely, so loving, so heartwarming. Thank you. Thank you. And one thing that was very important when you said that when we walk with God and we work with God, all goes well. So true. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lucy.
Come on, Teresa.
Lois?
Yes, that was so wonderful, Paul. Can't wait for you to come back to London and be in person again and see you and your loving
I'm
husband.
actually in London right now. This is where I'm in London, but I am here.
Teresa Van Diepen.
Thanks so much, Paul. You really touched me again.
Oh, that's so
So,
nice.
so glad to know you.
Ditto. I feel the same way. Thank God.
I think Chuck had a little yellow light, so I don't know if that means you wanted to share, Chuck.
Absolutely do. Thanks so much, Paul. I mean, your loving talk this morning stirred a lot of memories and thoughts and feelings, and made me realize that I liked Louise Hay's. One of her thoughts was to always keep working on yourself and never stop. And your talk this morning really brought that out to me, that that I still have a lot of work to do, and and there's lots of time for me to do it. And I really appreciated that stirred me so much. Thank you very kindly. And it's always a pleasure. I remember seeing you at Jack and Teresa's 50th wedding anniversary, and I met you there. It was wonderful. So thank you very much for all you're doing.
I just want to say one thing to what you just said, because I really feel that this is the thing that we're really experiencing right now, is that we do have to work on ourselves right now. And I am the first to raise my hand. I've been lost a little in this. And I think this is the thing that God prepares you for. When you're lost, you can be found. And when you're found, you're stronger for having been found.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that age comes that wisdom. And I've learned so much this week just from like my own stupid in my way self. And we always dim our light. This is the thing. Like, why we do this, I don't know. But when you shine it, things happen.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Paula?
I can't stay quiet any longer. I have to pipe up. Hi, Paul. Oh, my amazing friend who I, Jack and Teresa, for getting to know. And what I love the most is your openness and your faith in leading a life led and channeled by God. And that sounds threatening to a lot of people. And it sounds like it's not going to be fun anymore. And the exact opposite is true. And you just demonstrate that every day for us. And your words demonstrate that. And your experience demonstrates that. We both live a life where people look and say, well, how could you have possibly done all that? And the answer is, I don't know. So I did a long meditation this morning on the power of not knowing. And you expressed that. Could you have planned to sing to Louise Hay on her 90th birthday? No, we can't plan these things. We just, you're such a demonstration of showing up in the light of God and allowing what we used to call unbelievable things, but now we call them absolutely believable, the land of possibility, to just show up. And then you say yes. So thank you. Oh my gosh, what a powerful message.
Yeah,
You know how
thank
much
you.
I love you and miss you. And thank you for being here today. Yeah.
I think Paula, did you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I thought about it and listening to the people who spoke, they have covered so much. I just felt this week has been difficult and it was hard with the lockdown. And today to be lifted up, to have music and words together, I just don't know how to express it. I know I'll walk through this day very differently to the last week. And I hope it's a start that will continue. And when I get down, I'll put on some music that I have, of course. I found it doesn't come out as well on my machine. And today was just beautiful. And I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Renee?
Hi, Paul. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Nice to see you and your beautiful face. Just that's something that you mentioned about how do we bloom our souls, and I really do take that to heart, being the spring season, and just maybe would like to take that into reflection this week, because I sometimes feel we tend to stop ourselves from growing for whatever reason, whatever barriers we have, and I just think that today is a great day to allow that air and that sunshine and the light to just allow us to grow to where we're to be in whatever creative way that is. So thank you for that message.
I do want to just touch on the soul, just to really amplify that. The thing that I've learned in how you do that is you actually go from your head to your heart and let your heart lead your mind. And I get mixed up and shaky and rocky on that, but you follow, and you have to heal your heart. Your heart sometimes is broken, and when you heal it, then you shine out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Scott? Scott, I think you're muted. Just unmute.
I got it.
I think Renee had her hand up as well.
Renee just spoke. There you go, Scott.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Paul, for your talk today. I love the fact that you were so open about yourself.
Yeah.
And also, I want to thank you for sharing Louise Hay's life and what she went through. So many people, I mean, I know about her and I know about her work, but I didn't know what she'd gone through to get where she was. And I think that's important to share, because people go through some terrible things and think there's no hope. And you, by sharing that with us, can give other people that hope that they need. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Aw, there's sweet little Chewy. What I really liked in the visual, Paul, with your song at the end, were the pictures of the plants sprouting, and someone was holding a little plant in their hand.
Yeah.
And that's a visual for us, that if we're feeling sad or lost or scared, that we have that sprouting within us. It was just beautifully beautifully shared.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello? Hello? Hi, this is Annie.
Hi.
Hi, Annie.
I usually don't say much, but I saw an opportunity to ask a question. So often I'm connected with young people, and I just wanted to hear your opinion on it. I'm finding a lot of young people, of course, leading by example is the best way. And I always try to share the word and different things, but I find a lot of young people are in despair and just moving away from God.
Well, is that for me to answer, Annie?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I just want to commend you for the strength to ask that question and to bring that up, because I think that that's really what's going on now, is that this is not a time to forget God. It's a time to remember God. And I think that's where then our work comes in, where we shine our light. And, I always remember one of the things that I remember when I first started healing in 2011 that Maya Angelou taught me is that courage is the most important virtue that we must work, because without courage, you cannot work any
Yeah.
for God. And I live by this because I get really scared. I remember being on stages. I was so scared on some stages when I first started that my feet would shake, that I thought I would fall over.
Aw.
I realized that when you use your energy to help someone else, there's strength in that. So if you can stand up for God instead of you, then that will give you the courage to help someone else stand up for God, to say what needs to be said, to be what needs to be done, you know? And I think that all starts from understanding that God dwells within you as you.
Mhm.
And you know, it's a we have to understand the structure of that from the inside out. And when you do, I think that if you can amplify that to a child, this is the time for that, you know, to lean on God if you're scared or if you're worried or anxious, or and just to be the voice of that reason that's calm inside of you know. So I think this is the time for God, and I think we all need to be the voice for that right now when we see that out in the world. So
Wow,
my feeling.
it's a real message. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Lucy?
Paul, you touched on something very important, on the power of words. And it reminded me a situation in my life where I had said